Open your eyes.
WrestleCast podcast starts now.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite host, Cowboy Bob, coming to you live right here at the WrestleCast headquarters, WrestleCast podcast headquarters. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining. Don't forget, we got an amazing show tonight. We've got the one, the only, Ryan Mantis. I'm telling you what, it's going to be action-packed. You've got questions, I want you to ask them. Get the dirt. That's what we do right here. Look at the title. We get the dirt at WrestleCast Podcast. We got a few things to announce. First and foremost, I want to say we got our YouTube channel, like I said, up and running. So like, follow, and subscribe on that. Share that thing if you don't mind. Got the Cash App down here. It's going to help the channel grow. Don't even have to explain it. It's right there in the left-hand corner at the bottom. So if you want to donate, you're more than welcome to donate. Little few things I do want to go over real quick. As I said it in the last show, my nephew is in need of a heart transplant. It's a very serious thing, and he's got to go all the way to Tennessee. And if Tennessee can't do it, they're going to send him somewhere else. And then they're going to, if they can't do it, they got to send him somewhere else. And it's a big deal. And so we're trying to raise as much money as we can to help him out, keep him alive, and get this thing taken care of for him, folks. I'm going to squeeze out here and post that QR code right there. So it doesn't matter whether it's a penny or whether it's whatever, you know, anything helps. We greatly appreciate it. Leave that up for just a few minutes so you guys can scan it if you need to. Like I said, we greatly do appreciate it. All is welcome. With that being said, got a show coming up here in Tennessee. All right. None other than by Wasp. I want to share this video clip and run it for you guys. If y'all are in the area, make sure you stop by and check out this exciting indie pro wrestling.
Live March 15th from 3252 Forge Creek Road in Mountain City, Tennessee. Wrestling All-Star Promotions returns with March Madness. Tickets are $10, 6 through 12 or $8. 5 and under, get in free. Doors open at 6, bell time at 7. Will you be there?
There you go. I'm trying to get a little thing. I had a little technical difficulty. Sorry about that, folks. All right. And with that being said, I will definitely share that again closer to the ending of the show. So if anybody's interested in going to that show, I want you to check that out. Also, March the 15th, Wrestling Evolution has another show at the Cross Country Campgrounds. You guys don't want to miss that. I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to be there. So make sure you come up there, see those guys. Hey, get some autographs. Buy some merch. They're going to have merch tables everywhere. I'll have my merch up there if you guys want some. I got some Cowboy Bob shirts. I still got a few little microphones for the kiddos. They're only $5 a piece. Guys, make sure you show up and don't miss Wrestling Evolution at the Cross Country Campground. Those doors open, I believe, at 6:30, maybe 6 o'clock. I definitely know that show starts at 7, so you don't want to miss it. And that's in Denver, North Carolina. And I want to say this, without folks, further ado, I'm excited to welcome Ryan Mantis to the show. This guy is from School of Morton. He goes all over. I just got finished watching him at HWA. I was up there in Rufferton. Amazing show. We also got to see Matt Burns also do his retirement match. That was amazing. And our hats is off to him. Great show, guys. I mean, awesome. So, like I said, without further ado, let's get Ryan in here. Ryan, welcome to WrestleCast Podcast, man.
My fellow heathens and mid-guardians, it is an honor and a true privilege to finally be on the WrestleCast podcast, a hard fire that I know some of the best superstars and the greatest men have ever gathered around. It is truly an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Bob, for having me here.
Man, you're very welcome. I'm glad to have you. I'm excited. I tell you what, I can't wait to just jump and dive right in it. We got some people already dropping some information here. We got the Bottom Line. That's another podcast. He does them live in person. He says, hello, gentlemen. Hello to you. I believe that's Luke Childers that does that Bottom Line. Jenny Booth says, hello, Bob. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you also. Scott Larson says, let's go. If you know Scott, you got to know who Scott Larson is, Ryan.
Let's tell the hashtag truth, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. There's nobody like it. He gets the dirt there. And
understatement
going on. He's got much more going on, man. He just now started this whole thing that's going on YouTube. I can tell you, I can actually jump back here real quick. It won't take but a second. I want to tell you the name of it. I don't want to misname it here. Global Impact Wrestling. I should have put the flyer up. It's my fault. Sorry about that, Scott. Definitely do it next week. He's got a lineup. It's for WWE 2K25. He has took and made wrestlers. And so if you want to be on that show, let him know. He can make you make your own wrestler on there, and you will be fighting on YouTube Live.
I've got it pre-ordered, waiting for March 14th before I can get mine.
Man, I tell you, Scott's he probably pulled some strings.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, man, he's something else. I love Scott, man. Great guy. Oh, but yeah, let's jump right in. First and foremost, I want everybody to know. Well, let's jump this. Missy Childers says, "Hey, Ryan, who let the dogs out?"
Ho, 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 ho. Right here, baby.
That's right. I'm gonna have to do a little fixing on my stuff here. But while I'm doing that, if you don't mind, I'm gonna throw you full screen, and I'd like for you to go ahead and tell the folks who Ryan Mantis is and how you got into the business. We'll start with those two.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Ryan Mantis, the deranged behemoth, the rogue heathen, the heir to Mjolnir, the ascended demon, the steel state of mind, the definition of insanity, and oh, so many names that I've gone by. And while I crack open this cold one, I'm going to crack open this cold story, my friends. Let's do this the right way, shall we? So how did Ryan Mantis begin? Where did it come from? Well, first and foremost, I've been wrestling since 2013. Wrestling for 12 years now. And honestly, I can't imagine doing anything else, much like I think that's about what everybody would say. But back in 2013, I was sitting in my college dorm room. Yes, Ryan Mantis went to college. I know that's shocking. But I was always a huge fan, huge lover of wrestling my entire life. Like many of you, loved it since childhood, very early childhood. But the funny thing is, a lot of people say that they had family and friends that they watched it with, enjoyed it with. See, that wasn't my case. See, I had a great family, great people, normal middle class upbringing. But my family came around during that '90s era where a lot of people were starting to say that wrestling was like the devil, and it was kids were watching it was poisoning minds and stuff. So my parents tried to keep me away from wrestling for a long time. God bless them. They didn't mean anything bad by it, but they just they didn't think it was the best thing for me. But the God's honest truth was that as hardest as they tried, they could not keep me away from it. I loved it my entire life, and once I got into high school, they kind of accepted that there was no way they could keep me from loving it. But it wasn't until I was in college, 21 years old, and I was sitting in my dorm room at USC Upstate. And I was watching a documentary about WCW back in the day. And they talked about how Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes used to come through Spartanburg, South Carolina, and wrestle at the Memorial Auditorium. Now, I didn't even know about this. So my ADHD brain being what it is, I Googled pro wrestling Spartanburg. And wondering to myself, what's the history of wrestling around here? I never knew that. And lo and behold, a little thing popped up on Google, a Facebook page for something known as American Pro Wrestling. Oh, yes. And there was a phone number there, and it said, for $25 a day, we will train you to be a pro wrestler. And I looked at this, and I just said, and the next thing I heard was, American Pro Wrestling, this is Jerry. And I said, yes, I understand that you train people to wrestle. Is that true? Oh yeah, bro, you come on down here, pay $25 a week, sign some paperwork, and we'll get you in the ring, baby. And I actually went to the building that night, and I saw a wrestling ring up close for the first time ever. And I I honestly don't know how to describe that other than it felt like, I don't know if it was divine intervention or the kinship of all living things, but I tell you, my friends, at that moment, I knew I was going to be a wrestler. I fell in love with it the minute that I saw a ring. I knew that it was something I wanted to be a part of. I knew it was something I wanted to have in my life. And the minute I started to train, I trained under Timmy Anton and Elite 19. Those were the guys who were at APW back in the day, back in 2013. And those guys gave me the foundation that taught me everything I know, taught me all the basics, the fundamentals, taught me how to have a for lack of a better way of putting it, taught me how to have a set. I was a guy who, I never had a lot of passion. I was very motivated. One of those awkward ADHD kids who always had something new that they were obsessed with, but nothing really stuck. Nothing really drove me, really motivated me to want to become something even better than what I was. And when wrestling came along, it was night and day. All that changed. I started disciplining myself. I started dieting, exercising, got in the best shape of my life. And, after that first day where I stepped in the ring and got a feel for it, the rest was history. I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I've never experienced anything like it. And as far as where Ryan Mantis came from, to be honest, Mantis, believe it or not, is an homage to one of my favorite video games growing up, Metal Gear Solid 1. Some of you may remember a villain named Psycho Mantis. And I always thought this was one of the coolest villains that I'd ever seen. I was obsessed with video games as a kid. And
I played that game.
and so, Mantis is a name. I just thought that name was always so cool, and that stuck with me. And then I'm sitting on my couch playing one of the 2K games, and I'm creating a wrestler, and I'm thinking they had Mantis as a last name in the game. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. What's the first name? I'm looking at the list. I see Ryan. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with it. That's it. So Ryan Manson, I was like, it's got a ring to it. I like it. And ever since that day, it's stuck.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Brother, we have got some questions pouring in. We got Scott Larson says, Ryan, how's it going to feel when HWA embarrasses you and EPW?
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Embarrass me. Apparently, you didn't see that last match. Did you see what I did to Stryker? Did you see what I did to JC Youngblood? That's the meat bags that they put against me and Gabe. That's who you give to the War Dogs. See, that's your problem. They underestimated us like they always do. Underestimated the hell out of us, and look what happened. They were destroyed. And what did they have to do? Send out not one, not two, but three people, one of which had a kendo. So don't tell me about embarrassment. The fact that you needed 5 guys, one of which with a weapon, to take us down. That's embarrassing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jenny says she had a question. She asked you if you ever wrestled at APW, which I believe you have. Said, never mind. I thought that was you, man. You've lost a lot of weight. You look great.
I'm aware. Actually, when I first, that's one of my favorite things. When I first got to APW, I think I was somewhere in the lower mid 300s. Lost a little bit of weight when I first started, but then as after the initial period, I kind of ended up gaining a lot, and I went down to like the upper 200s. But then I ended up in the upper 300s. I was almost 400 pounds back in, I want to say like 2017, 2018.
Oh, wow.
Around the time COVID hit, that was when Lincolnton had the wow factor that they were running up there. And me and the one and only, the Devil's long lost son, Lazarus Black, used to run up there. When everybody else was sitting at home and was quarantining, we were going up to Lincolnton and getting that training in, baby. We was up there like, oh no, COVID be damned. We're still going to train. We're going to practice. And we became one of the best tag teams in North Carolina. Well, granted, it's easy when every place else is shut down. But anyway, that don't fact check that. Don't fact check that.
You want to?
Shut up, Steve Allen. I came up with that before you.
Scott says, "Do you believe wrestling is a lifestyle?"
It absolutely can be. Wrestling is one of those things that it's like it's a neutral force of nature, in my opinion, and how you utilize it is completely up to you. For me personally, it is a lifestyle because it gave me a foundation that I never realized I needed. Once I decided to make wrestling what I wanted and make it my ultimate life goal, everything else changed. I mean, uh, only two things in life: wrestling and my wife. That's it. Uh, it's like as long as I have those two things in life, that is all I need.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Chris says, compared to when you started, you have gotten so much better. Proud of where you are now.
Coming from Thunder Anderson, that means that's worth more than $1 million.
There you go. That's
I
priceless.
I remember walking into locker rooms and seeing Thunder Anderson sitting on that old APW couch, and he scared the hell out of me. Dude was the meanest, nastiest looking SOB I'd ever seen. Had the 1,000-yard stare when he was putting his gear on. Looked like if you walked up to him and said hello, he would say, "Boy, I will eat you up and spit you out." And then, whenever I did get in the ring with him, I mean, the man didn't pull. He was a hard worker. Man was stronger than an ox. And when we got to the back, I remember being so scared, thinking, "Oh God, I'm gonna get lit up for something I did wrong." But instead, he pulled me aside and gives me the most sound and helpful advice that I'd ever heard. And I can't exactly remember what that was at the moment, but but nevertheless, I remember being like, "Wow!" What? And ever since then, every locker room I've ever shared with him, he's always had more advice, stories to tell. He's always said, "Hey, man, I'm seeing what you're doing. I followed you," and it's just, dude, he's one of the most solid guys I've ever met. Love him from the bottom of my heart, man. And I still love him for breaking the original free hugs chair over Lazarus Black's head. Greatest chair shot I've ever seen in my life.
I know Lazarus, great guy, great person.
Absolutely.
Bottom line says, what makes the fans want to come see you?
What makes the fans want to come see me is that they know that when they go into that building, they are going to see an explosive event unlike anything that they see anywhere else. When they say that they are coming to pay their money because they want to see action, they want to see excitement, they want to see intensity, they want their adrenaline rush, you're going to get it with me every single time, no matter who you put me in the ring with, no matter what we do in that ring. If it's a one-on-one singles match standard rules, or if it's an extreme rules with weapons, falls count anywhere, it doesn't matter. It is going to be a banger of a match every single time, and you never know what's going to happen.
Folks, I'll tell you right now, that is a fact. That's not just hearsay. That's a fact.
As Judge Judy would say.
I saw it firsthand, enjoyed it from the moment he breached the curtain. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it when he's out there and he's at a show. So, and we'll get to finding out where those are going to be here in a little while. But
yeah.
Missy says, Ryan, what has been your favorite moment in wrestling?
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. If we are talking about what is my favorite, what's the moment that will always that I remember watching in all of wrestling, or we're talking about something I expect. If we're going something in all of wrestling history, well, I'm going to be very honest with you. My favorite wrestling moment of all time, hands down, and I know we're not supposed to bring this up as much, but Benoit winning the World Heavyweight Championship, WrestleMania 20. And now all the, that aside, just focusing on the wrestling in and of itself, there was what made me realize how wrestling was the greatest performing art ever in of anything else in the world was when all of Madison Square Garden is standing on their feet and screaming and making the roof explode, all because of a man tapping his hand on a mat. Triple H tapping out to the crossface was one of the most biggest and exciting adrenaline rushing moments that I had ever seen. It was a story that was built up for months and months on end, and all of that company's entire show, everything was riding on that right there, and watching people absolutely explode from that. Myself nearly passing out from screaming so hard and being so excited. That's when I realized that wrestling was the greatest performing art in the history of mankind. And that, I mean, that's just one example. There's millions of moments out there that sold millions and millions of dollars with the silliest, simplest act ever. So that's my moment personally.
I got you. Chris says, "Thank you, Ryan. Keep working hard. It pays off."
And you know, that's something I actually want to point out, because a lot of guys ask about what does it take to succeed in this business? What does it take to get over? What do I have to do? And well, first of all, success in this business is defined in many different ways. It just depends on how you look at it. But overall, hard work is one of those things that is a foundational requirement to. It's kind of like saying if you want to be in a race, you got to have a car. Because if you want to be in this business, working hard 24/7 and spilling your blood, sweat, and tears you have to do that. And there's absolutely no guarantee it's going to pay off. At least not like, it doesn't mean you're going to get to that. It means that you have given yourself the foundation to become something better. But it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get to that next level. But that's the requirement. What you do to get yourself successful, that's up to you.
That's right. There you go. That's well said. Missy says, "Ryan, have you joined up with Father Son?"
Okay. All right. Let me clarify something very, very quickly. All right. What we are dealing with is a war. It is a war between EPW and HWA. HWA, and this was the aggressor. They came in with the first attack, attacked our trainees. They were cowards. They were the aggressor. We had no choice. We had to unite. We had to form a team. Let me put it this way. This is like World War II. HWA is the Germans. Brother Silas is the Russians. And I'm the American. The American making a deal with the devil, doing what they have to do to protect their nation. It's that simple. Brother Silas gives me the weaponry and the resources I need to defend my territory. It is as simple as that. Friendship, harmony, I assure you, there is none of that. What this is necessity.
But she says, "I joined Father Darkness and Brother Silas." Oops.
Father Darkness! Oh my God! Where's that guy? We need to see Father Darkness, Rage Davidson, Damian Legion, Matt Burns, and Ryan Mantis. Evil Link reunion, baby!
Check
Girl,
this.
that's way back in the day.
Scott says, "Ryan, you're too calm, sir. You need to get excited. Seriously, could you take us through wrestling day from waking up to match time?" That's a good question.
Oh my gosh. From waking up, that, it really depends. If I'm going to EPW on a Friday, then usually that means waking up and doing what I got to do for the day to keep the lines of supplies running, obviously. And then honestly, it all boils down to making sure that your body is right, drinking plenty of fluids, get light meals. I mean, that's just generic body maintenance. And then, of course, you got your caffeine and your hydration and your whatever other vices you may have. Some of us have different ones than others. I'll let you leave that one to the imagination. But all it comes down to is getting yourself in that mindset of understanding who your opponent is, and most of all, remembering who you are before you step into that ring, before you step through that curtain, before you step into that locker room. It all boils down to making sure that the most important part is getting your mind right more than anything. That's what I like to focus on.
There you go. Check this out. Mr. Thunder Anderson said, you in a bar surrounded by 100 guys, and you only got 4 independent wrestlers to fight your way out. Who you picking?
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and put Thunder in there. I'll go ahead and give him that one since he asked the question. I think then next I'd have to go with Lazarus Black.
Okay.
Because, say what you will, the dude can take more punishment than anybody I've ever known.
Yes, he can.
Then I'd have to put the Savior TKO. My boy with the Lucille bat, he could take out at least 50 of those guys. And of course, my fellow war dog, Gabriel Logan. Get out there and make mincemeat in our yard, baby.
There you
Wouldn't
go.
stand a chance. They'd probably all leave out of the bar before we even started.
Good deal. Good deal. Jenny says, Ryan, are you wrestling at HWA now? Did you leave APW?
No, man, remember, EPW and HWA are at war right now. So I am coming and I am into the territory doing what I have to do. We have a special agreement, you see. We have rules of war going on here. That's what happens in wrestling. So we have an agreement for fair combat, and the outcome will be what it is. Now, of course, I'm not going to sit here and reveal my plans of attack right here, but no, I am very much on the side of EPW, not HWA.
Gotcha. Thunder Answer says, the friend of my enemy is my friend.
And the enemy of my friend is a dead man.
Well, there you go. Missy says, are you selling dogs at your table now? Shirts?
Actually, yes, we had War Dogs t-shirts on sale. We've actually just recently sold out. So we are resupplying. And yes, anytime at EPW, want to represent the War Dogs, run with the pack, join the good fight, get you a War Dogs t-shirt, and make yourself one of us. Anybody who aligns with the War Dogs is a War Dog.
There you go. I like that. I thought about getting shirts of a lot of guys and actually hanging them on the back wall here, kind of making like a I don't want to use the word shrine. That sounds too markish.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go with that. I mean, it's a shrine to the business,
Exactly. So maybe we get one of them War Dog shirts and put up there.
Absolutely.
Jenny says, I have not been to shows in a while. What is EPW?
EPW?
It says, where is it?
That is it was formerly APW, Boiling Springs, which a lot of people may remember. APW, formerly American Pro Wrestling, went under a rebranding and is now under the name Explosive Pro Wrestling. Still same location, but it is not on Saturdays now. It is on Friday nights. 8 p.m. Showtime. Come out there, bring everybody with you. That's where we're at every single Friday.
There you go, Bowling Springs, South Carolina. Yeah, I've been down there. Great place. Plenty of room, action packed down there also. Missy says she needs to get one of them shirts.
She absolutely will. Absolutely.
Hey, here we go. Thunder Anderson says, I'll hook you up with a shirt box. Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate that. That would be awesome.
Evil and nasty, baby.
On the wall. We'll wind up having to take that background I got up there behind me, and we'll take that down, and we'll just have this whole wall just plastered. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Scott says, well, first, let's go there. Jenny said, wow, really a lot of changes. Yes, there has been. Scott says, Ryan, which do you prefer, singles or tag team?
Tag team has become something that I was unintentionally became kind of a specialty. Oh my gosh, I've been in so many teams over the years. Initially, the first team I was ever a part of was Evil Inc. Like I said earlier, with Matt Burns, who just retired
Yes.
this past year. Uh, well, ADHD mom, but I want to give a shout out to him. Matt Burns is one of the greatest friends and greatest partners I ever had for years and years. I'm a little mad at him because I didn't realize he was retiring that night. I thought it was coming up. I didn't realize it was that night. Had I known that, I would have grabbed a hold of Joey and said, "Screw y'all, give him 2 matches and put me in it." Because that man is not getting out of this business without wrestling me one more time. And I'm still going to say, in fact, Matt Burns, you need to come out of retirement one more time to face me. One more time. Once. But I digress. But Matt Burns, Rage Davidson, Damian Legion, Father Darkness, we were all in Evil Inc. together for a while, which ran at APW, ran at UIW at Rutherfordton. Some may remember the old underground independent wrestling. Not too long after that, tag teamed with Damian Legion's son, Kilgore. We were Hearts and Hugs. Some people may remember the days of the free hugs that Ryan Mantis used to give. And to be fair, I do still give those on occasion. Every once in a while, there is that. Yeah, Captain Huggles does still live, so he does come out every once in a blue moon. And some hell of a boss stickers on there for you Vizzy Pop fans out there. You know, Ryan Mantis may be a crazed, deranged, all-out insane lunatic, but I still love my anime and my cartoons. Nothing wrong with that. And anyway, but Hearts and Hugs was a team to be reckoned with. Me and Kilgore, we ran APW back in the day. But of course, Damian Legion, being the little shinless Commodore Hank Hill dad that he is, came in and convinced Kilgore to betray me, and I still owe him a smack for that. But after that came my dear friend Lazarus Black, the person that I was in the upstate asylum with for all those years, and we became a force to be reckoned with and reconnected in the wrestling world to form the Black Society. Ran for 5 years, baby. One of the best, most gnarly, feared tag teams of all time. Now, all that being, and now, you see me with TKO in Tennessee and the War Dogs down here in EPW. So tag team is something that I really, really love to dig into. But at the end of the day, I look at myself, I am what Jim Cornette claims to be. I'm just a student of this business. I love all of it. I want to be the most feared, dominant, dangerous wrestler in every single solitary form and kind of match that is available at every level, every venue, anywhere from that little crappy back alley bar to Madison Square Garden. I will be the dominant force anywhere I go.
I love it. I love it. Well said. Well said, Ryan. Thunder Anderson said tag team wrestling, most people don't know or understand that it is an art form. Unlike singles, tag team wrestling is all about the story and psychology. Plus, it's just a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. And one of my favorite artists of that is, believe it or not, Ricky Morton. And no, I'll be honest, I was never like a gigantic Rock and Roll Express fan. I mean, I grew up with the Hardy Boys. I was a Hardy Boys fan before I was a wrestling fan, because those guys, they came out with this alternative lifestyle, which is something I was always drawn into, obviously. And, watching studying the way these guys interact and the way they did things, you notice that it's one of those things where there is no right way to do it, but there is a wrong way, if that makes sense. There are so many different paths you can take and different ways you can tell that story as a tag team. And you're always finding new and innovative ways to do it. And it's a true art that is alive and well today.
That's awesome. Bottom line says, is there any promotions you have your eye on to go to in Tennessee, North Carolina, or South Carolina?
Oh my gosh. Well, here's the thing. Yes. Right now, honestly, the schedule's pretty full. On weekend, Fridays, EPW, Saturdays. I've got various bookings throughout North Carolina, and every other Sunday is Tennessee. Now, keep in mind, I'm in Boiling Springs, South Carolina. So, fully loaded weekends, I'm usually driving around, traveling here and there. But there's a lot of different promotions, like Wrestling Evolution is one of them. Know a lot of great guys up at Wrestling Evolutions. Guys like the Allen brothers. I'm still eager to get my hands back on those Allen brothers. Now, I worked with those guys when they were first young and starting out, and man, let me tell you something. They have grown into an unbelievable powerhouse and have made such an incredible name for themselves. But they have managed to escape to Wrestling Evolution. And you know what the difference is between Wrestling Evolution and every place else? Ryan Mantis isn't there. So when Ryan Mantis does get there, the Allens are going to have a whole new set of problems on their hands. And who will I bring with me up there? You'll find out when the day comes. Also, Ring Wars Carolina. That's a place I'd love to get to sometime as well. And any place that's run by Bob Keller. Bob Keller, one of the greatest dudes on the planet, man. Come on, Bob. I'm dying to see you, baby.
There you go. Great. I love it. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Man, I tell you what, that is awesome. And I was going to ask that question. Luke beat me to it. Good job there, Luke. Good job. Bottom line, doing what the bottom line does. He was getting the dirt right here on WrestleCast podcast. Nothing wrong.
Now the question is, who says so?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I tell you what, man. When I come up here and I saw you guys up there at the HWA, we didn't know what to expect. We had never been to HWA. I'd have loved for to be able to go up there and Scott be there. Scott was sick, unfortunately. I hope you guys are getting better, by the way, Scott. Hope you and your family is getting better. Our prayers and thoughts are with you, buddy. But yeah, I know that he's normally up there a lot. And so went there and I was really I was mesmerized. I had an amazing time. I brought my family, I brought my wife, I brought my grandchildren, I brought my daughter and her whole man. And we just had an amazing time. I mean, my grandson's 14 months old, and he's just stuck on that screen. On that ring. He's watching that ring, and he ain't taking his eyes off of it. No screaming, no crying, not acting like the redheaded brat. I'm telling you right now, he's watching and he's glued. And then you got I got a newborn, Jasper. He's sitting there quiet as a mouse, not making a peep. Amazing show. Watching the guys gather up around the ring around you guys. I was like, oh goodness, what's going to happen here? And Ryan Mantis here, folks, didn't back down. He had a group of people outside the ring waiting to jump in there and jumping, and he didn't back down. And I was like, heck yeah, here we go. He's ready to rock and roll. So it was an awesome show. I enjoyed it. I'd definitely be up there again. I can't wait for the next one. Got to fit it in the schedule, of course. The schedule is crazy.
Now, do you know why? Do you know why those boys and those kids and everybody at that show loved what they were seeing, and they loved seeing Ryan Mantis not back down? I'm going to tell you why. It's the same reason that there are children up at SOM that put on Ryan Mantis' face paint, even though they know he's with the Saviors. It's because they know that they spent their whole lives listening to the past generation tell them to do things calmly, quietly, and simply. Ryan Mantis comes out and teaches them to live in fear. That is to fight endlessly and relentlessly. That is the only way to live in fear. And those kids know it. They see it. They see Ryan doing it every single time he's out there. And when they ask me, hey, Ryan, are you a good guy or a bad guy? I look them right in the eye and say, you tell me. And don't you let anybody tell you what's good, what's bad. You tell your teachers, your parents, whoever it may be, that you decide what's good and you fight against what is bad. Period.
Love it. I love it. I tell you what. That's exactly right, Ryan. Missy says, who has been your worst match?
Oh,
we get the dirt right here, Ryan. We get the dirt.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. All right. You know what? All right. Lazarus Black will remember this one. So we are up in Charlotte, North Carolina, working for we'll just call him Didi for anonymity reasons. And me and Laz get put in a tag match with Devin Reed, who is a young, I think he was 16 at the time. I mean, this was North Carolina, so but young dude. He was training in Gastonia, so we decided, yeah, sure, no problem there. Tag him with this guy named Christian something. I don't remember the guy's last name. But we had 2 hours before the match, and the guy, they told me, hey, listen, this guy's been wrestling for 13 years, great dude. And I just said, hey, man, we're gonna get in there, we're gonna have a good fight, and whoever wins wins. May the best person win. I said, yeah, sure, no problem at all. And let me tell you something. We get in there, it was the most embarrassing nonsense I had ever seen. This guy had absolutely no clue whatsoever how to fight. Claimed he'd been in for 13 years, didn't even know how to lock up, didn't know how to do basic training, didn't know anything. And all I remember is by the time it was over, I got in that ring, grabbed him by his throat, gave one solid fist across that jaw, got out of the ring, didn't get back in, and as soon as that bell rang and me and Laz were victorious, I stepped outside of that ring, went right up to him, put my boot on his neck, and said, don't you ever bring your effing A into my business or my ring ever again unless you know how to effing fight. And if you don't, this is going to be way, way worse, and you are going to leave in an ambulance, not your car. Your girlfriend's not going to be the one taking you home after this, I assure you. The point is, if you get in that ring, be honest about who you are, where you come from. Don't lie, because if we find out that you're lying and making yourself sound bigger than you actually are, you are going to be annihilated. And I'm not even that kind of guy.
You heard it right here. I'm telling you, there it is. That's the dirt. And Missy's correct. Yes, Missy, we get the dirt. That is exactly right.
And now to be fair, I have not. That was like nearly 8 years ago. I have not seen that guy since. I've never had an incident like that since. I've literally never done anything, had that kind of issue with anybody. I think maybe other than one guy who was a clown that literally just walked in after watching the YouTube video,
Hey, look here. Thunder Anderson said, man, you scary.
Me scary? You're the scary one, dude. I walk in and I'm like, I go from war dog to.
Hey, he said he thinks your can's empty too.
About to be.
Folks, you got to share this live. I'm telling you, this is an amazing show. I told you, nonstop right here, WrestleCast podcast. This is awesome. Don't forget, we are live on YouTube. I apologize. I didn't know if that was going to take place. It is taking place. We are live right now on YouTube also. Make sure we share it, like, share, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. I'm telling you, got to get it out there. With that being said, let me ask you a question. Where are you going to be this weekend?
Well, obviously, you know that me and Gabriel Logan, the War Dog, are going to be at EPW.
Yeah.
EPW every Friday night. Make them.
He's ready to
Oh, expensive attraction. Expensive attraction. Are you going to be at EPW? Because if you are, you know that little fur coat that you wear around your back, Connor Drake, say Drake, it's going to be wrapped around your neck, and that little mustache from the 70s, I don't know if I can say what that would normally refer to, that Colin Casanova has, I'm going to take that little bad boy and rip that off from end to end, and I'm going to put it on my own dog, and I'm going to make you call it. So just know, expensive attraction, you want to stick your nose into our business again. Whenever a dog sticks its nose into another dog's unwanted business, it does not end well, and it won't end well for you. And HWA, the same thing goes for you. Next time we step in that ring, you might want to throw somebody's a little bit of a challenge and not a couple of meat bags like JC Youngblood and Stryker. And Ben Wright, yeah, okay. You came out with a kendo stick and we ran scared. Yeah, okay, wasn't expecting it. Caught me a little off guard. Then don't give me that BS about running away from a stick. You know as well as I do, there is one person in that building that is not afraid to spill blood, sweat, and more blood, and that is me. You know that I have got the resume of a hardcore death matcher. I am not afraid to step in that ring and shed blood again and again and again. So, my big friend, if you want to make that happen, I will happily volunteer as tribute. And then, last but not least, my friend, are we getting to the big segment? Are we there yet, or are we still waiting on that?
Oh, we still waiting right there, Ryan.
Then I'm gonna say what I was about to say. I'll just
Yeah, let's
leave it
save
at
the
that.
best for last, brother. Let's save the best for last. Hey, Mr. Cowboy's got a question for you. What titles have you held?
I am what was formerly APW Grand Slam champion. I have held every single championship in Boiling Springs building since it began. Every title that they've had, it has been around my waist. Now I'll be honest. I've only had a handful of belts at other places. I've been the GPW Tag Team Champion, the SCW Tag Team Champion. I am the current East Tennessee Tag Team Champion with TKO. We are the saviors at the School of Morton, and we have yet to be defeated.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Heck yeah. Hey, Missy said, Thunder answering threw a kid in a mud puddle at a fair show. he said, yes, I did. And it was deep too.
Giggity.
Scott says, Ryan, who's your favorite champion? And why is it Spotlight Scotty Brooks? Oh, Scott is. Oh Lord.
Who? 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 Oh, you mean that overgrown, inflated ego who I smacked across the mouth 2 weeks ago? That guy? That champion? Oh yeah. My favorite champion is the one that is looking at me in the mirror, baby.
There you go.
That's my favorite champion.
There you go. There you go. That's exactly right. I like that. So I do want to ask this, because Missy asked this question a while back. You know, she was asking you what was one of your favorite moments in wrestling. She was actually referring to you. What was one of your favorite moments in wrestling?
That is actually an easy one. It was the first feud that I ever had, and it was a feud with the one and only, the legendary TJ Boss. It was at American Pro Wrestling back in, I want to say, 2015. We feuded for the United States Championship, and it ended in a hardcore Falls Count Anywhere match. And brother, we went all around that building, and we used anything and everything that we could get our hands on. It was the longest drawn out fight I have ever experienced. The first major fight I ever experienced. There was nothing like it ever since or before. And I ended with me taking home that belt. And honestly, it's a memory that's going to live forever. And I've still got the highlights on my YouTube channel, which I could share tonight. That was the moment that changed me, and realized when I learned what it feels like to have that moment and to raise that belt above my head. My whole family was there.
That's
My
awesome.
mom, my dad, my now wife, then girlfriend.
Yeah.
And just nothing like it.
That is awesome. Jenny says, who's Spotlight Scotty Brooks? Tell us more.
Spotlight Scotty Brooks. There's nobody is a bigger fan of Spotlight Scotty than Spotlight Scotty. Let me tell you. And if you ever meet the man, I hope you got 15 minutes to parlay, because whatever he's going to tell you is going to take 15 minutes. No. In all seriousness, Spotlight Scotty was the champion of I'm so sorry, I don't remember if he is current champion or not. But definitely was the champion for HWA. Me and the EPW crew, unfortunately, we had no choice but to jump in on this man when he was least expecting. After what they did to our trainees, we came in and we destroyed their champion. Now, let me tell you something. I always admired the guy, but the fact that he let his guard down that easy showed me that he's got a lot of growing to do as a champion. When you're a champion, you got a target on your back, Scotty. You can't take that lightly. And you did. And look what happened.
There you go. Hey, Thunder Anderson says, hey, Bob, ask Ryan about almost becoming a pirate, if he remembers.
Next question. Next question. I don't need no more heat on that one.
Thunder Anderson was getting the dirt right.
I just got over the initial heat that I had with the person who shut up, Thunder. Shut up.
Folks, for a brief second, before we get back into the show, I'm going to go back over and I am going to run this ad again. And and I mentioned a few things, if that's okay with you, Ryan.
Absolutely.
All right. My nephew, like I said, he is in need of a heart transplant. And yes, I do. I said it a million times. We want to keep him around. Love that little fella. And he had open heart surgery when he was born. He's always had heart issues, pacemakers, and things of this nature. And he definitely could use the support. So right there's that QR code. Once again, you guys want to snap a picture of it. Like I said, anything helps. I mean, a penny to anything helps. We greatly appreciate it. Let that sit there for just a second. And with that being said, let me drop down here and let me run this ad one more.
Live March 15th from 3252 Forge Creek Road in Mountain City, Tennessee. Wrestling All-Star Promotions returns with March Madness. Tickets are $10, 6 through 12 or $8. 5 and under, get in free. Doors open at 6, bell time 7. Will you be there?
Well, that's to be determined. Hope you are, folks. If you're in the area, stop by and check out WASP. I'm sure you will not be disappointed. And with that being said, don't forget about Wrestling Evolution this Saturday at Cross Country Campground, March the 15th. Doors open at 6, bell times at 7. Come in there and see all this amazing pro talent that Tim Wilcox, the damn boss, has got for you to see. I'll be there. I want you to be there. We also got Missy saying, Ron, tell everyone about when your teacher showed up at a show for you, brought his family. He was there. It was a great moment. That spoke.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for went and did a show at SNEW in North Carolina. Forgive me, I forget what the town was, but it was a church yard sale show. Very simple, small little show. My teacher of 3rd grade traveled from Perquimans, North Carolina. It's like a 3.5, 4-hour drive. He showed up with his wife, his 2 kids, his mother, to hold with these big signs saying, I knew Ryan Mantis when he was just a little praying mantis, showing the cycle of like bugs and how they grow. It was baffling, man. He brought all these signs, and I was in tears. I was in the ring and I was training. I turned and looked, and I just see this man but with a big old smile on his face and these glasses, and I'm looking and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, Mr. Hawkins? And I mean, that's the kind of thing that when you just, it's so surreal. I never, that's the kind of stuff you literally dream about, like the people from your past, getting that Rocky Maivia, this is your life moment,
Yeah.
And I got to see him, shoot a promo with him, had a tearful hug and everything. But thank you, Missy. That is one of the moments that will forever live in my heart. The signs are hanging on my wall in my house, and they'll forever be cherished. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Very much so.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I tell you what, I got to say this. Ryan, busy guy, extremely busy, traveling all the time, going state to state to state. And folks, when you got somebody that's like that and that dedicated to the sport and wrestles and performs for all of us out here, it's worth going and seeing. You see the intensity that this man has. It's not just here, it's also in the ring. That's who he is. He is a pro wrestler. And if you're not watching him, you're missing out. So you need to find out. You just heard him say he's going to be at EPW Friday. Don't miss it. That's this Friday. Cannot remember that address. I know it's Bullock Springs 122, I want to say.
122 Builders Court.
There we go. So I was close. So definitely want to get out there and see him. I'm telling you, you're missing out if you don't. And like and follow his page. You know, you're going to be able to keep up updates of where he's going to be. You'll see the flyers, and because it is well worth your time. If you want to get your mind off of all this going on in our society that's driving us crazy and really have one heck of a fun night, go watch Ryan Mantis blow your mind in the squared circle. I'm here to tell you. One more question right here is Chris Thunder says, that is what makes wrestling the best thing in our lives as wrestlers. I've had the same thing happen to me.
Absolutely.
Missy did say I had pictures of Chris and you wrestling, and they bought them all. So there you go. There you go. And I want to say this, folks. Thank you for joining WrestleCast podcast tonight. Each and every one of you guys who and ladies who asked your questions and decided to take time out of your day to stop by. It means so much. And like I said, Chris, thank you for your questions. Missy, thank you. Scott, Luke, and Ryan, thank you for taking time out of your busy day and stopping by and sharing your knowledge of the indie pro wrestling circuit with us, and we get in the dirt. And with that being said, our last segment is called I'm About to Hurt Someone's Feelings, courtesy of Roughneck, and I always say that. So I'm going to drop down, and Ryan Mantis, you let them have it.
Oh, whose feelings should I hurt? Oh, I know. Kazana! Oh, where are the Kazanas at tonight? Come on, old Cowboys. Where are you? Where's KC Kazana? Huh? Oh, yes, I've seen KC Kazana. I'm a much bigger fan of your brother, AJ Kazana. AJ Kazana, you're a big man. The big cowboy from NWA. Love it, my buddy. Big, strong dude. You must feel really confident about you. But you know something? All them big, burly muscles and all that power, it doesn't mean anything when something hits you in the kneecaps now, does it? And the problem is your little brother, KC Kazana, that little chihuahua that you bring with you everywhere you go, that ain't going to help you either. You know something? I watch you too. You ever seen that movie 101 Dalmatians, that animated Disney movie where there's that big old Great Dane? That's what you are, AJ. A big old strong Great Dane. I respect you. But then you got that little yippy. What's going on, AJ? Tell me. Little KC Kazana, you need to get rid of that little dog and you need to be your own man. Because KC Kazana, I know what you did to me. You attacked me from behind, gave me a concussion because you're a coward. Just another coward like you and the rest of the Kazana family. That goes for you. That goes for AJ. Oh, let's not forget about good old Cowboy Joe. Oh, yes, the big papa himself. I love these bootlicking, crap-kicking, East Tennessee balling turds. Yeah, I mixed that up a little bit. Who cares? Oh, yeah, Joe, I know that you're so proud of your precious boys, those precious boys that you raised and you love so much, and they're going to be your legacy and bring you all kinds of glory and greatness. Well, here's the problem. Me and TKO, we exist because of you, Kazana. Because the fact is, the Cowboy Kazanas have been a poison for too long. And we are going to be the saviors of East Tennessee when we come in and we destroy everything that you spent your whole life building brick by brick. And you will be forced to stand there and watch it crumble, and you will shed tears knowing that you are helpless to do anything about it. You are going to know that emptiness and the pain that this world offers. Pain that we have felt unlike any other and are ready to give it back. We're taking your world and making it ours, Joe. AJ and KC, those little boys you raised, you're going to watch them crumble and perish. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Oh, yeah. And Santino Morella is going to be there to help us. Did I mention that? We have friends in high places just like you, Joe. Oh, that's right. Cowboys have friends in low places. The Kazana Empire is done, and the saviors will rise.
And with that, folks, it's like I always say, if you got plans, you're going to want to break them, because WrestleCast Podcast is the place to be. Thank you all, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Don't miss it.
Won't waste another minute, no, I won't. I'm a man on a mission.